Alright. Well, I figure I'd just yak at the phone for a little bit. Why not? Clear my brain. Listening to the news lately and coming to a realization that humankind, all of us people, are really kind of like a bacteria. Think of the Earth, which some call the planet a female. They call it Gaia. And if you think about it, it really is a living being. It's a living entity. It's just a lot bigger and a lot different than what we understand life as. But as a whole, the planet is alive. It has a whole system, an ecosystem on it that's full of life. It has plants that feed animals, that in turn feed the plants. It's a cycle. The planet grows, it shrinks, it farts little volcano farts, it creaks, it stretches. It's alive. So if you look at different civilizations on the planet, like the Native Americans, you've got the East Asian, like the Indian culture, you've got the Japanese, the Chinese, South Africans, you've got Western civilization, which for the most part is European civilization, because that's where all of Western civilization originated, was from Europe. That's the only history we ever hear about, European history. That's the only world history we're taught. So now if you look at all of humanity as if we're a bacterial culture on another entity, currently Western civilization it's almost parasitic. If humanity in itself is part of a biosystem like your gut bacteria, you've got good gut bacteria that you need to help you process food, to get the nutrients out, that breaks down food so your body works correctly. Those are symbiotic relationships. They work together. One needs the other. One lets the other just stay there because it's beneficial. There's all kinds of plants that are just like that. So now if we're a symbiotic entity on the planet Earth, Western civilization has turned cancerous. It no longer helps the planet, helps itself, gets smarter, gets stronger. It feeds directly on the planet and doesn't care that the planet is losing because of it. The way Western civilization currently works, it will rape the planet until the planet is dead, at which point it will move on to find another host. We're exploring space now for when this planet does kick the bucket and becomes unlivable. We'll be able to spread out and rape a new one. We've had different times in the past where we tried to go back to a symbiotic relationship, a beneficial relationship with the planet. We've tried. But the problem is, the ruling class, the people in power, regardless of if it's economic power, if it's intellectual power, if it's political power, the people who benefit the most from the system while contributing the least have destroyed every one of those social uprisings we've ever had. If you look back to the 70s, the 60s, the hippie culture started to take off. And what was the hippie culture about? Peace, love, and happiness. You didn't litter. You didn't eat processed crap that destroyed everything. You were one with nature, like the Native American culture used to be. It was all about peace and love. But that didn't sell enough guns for those in power who just so happened to also be military industrial complex type people. It didn't sell enough guns for them to continue making billions in profit. They wouldn't be able to sit on the very peak of the pyramid while the rest of us held it up. So that got squashed by the CIA. You can look it up. It's on Google. 10-minute Google search and you can verify everything I'm saying. That's the good thing about truth. I don't have to defend it. I let it out. It defends itself. So, I'm not going to be your Google and bring up a bunch of different source material. See, this is where I'm getting this from. This is where I'm getting this from. I say this because... No, just listen to what I say and get curious. If nothing else, just think, I'm going to look into that. Because something doesn't sound right. Or, that sounds exactly right. Why wasn't I taught this? If you look back to when the education system was started, they didn't want smart people who thought for themselves. They wanted a nation of workers. They wanted a whole class of people that would be happy to just toil away all day as long as they got to go home and forget about life for a couple hours and keep their families fed. They didn't want them to be smart. We've got the patent office. Oh, you come up with a brilliant idea? Oh, well, hold on a second. You might want to patent that so you don't lose any money. We'd hate for somebody to steal your invention, and the next thing you know, oh, that will go directly against our economy because it eliminates the need for oil. We're going to have to call that now classified. Here's your payoff. Sign this non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to go ahead and tuck this planet-saving energy device that has no pollution and is free. We're going to go ahead and tuck that on the shelf and hide it away because our buddies over at Exxon wouldn't want to lose... I'm sorry. Winter kills me. Our buddies over at Exxon wouldn't want to lose the $14.75 billion profit they had last quarter, and we've projected an increase of 6%. So all of our investors are extremely happy and wouldn't want that to go by the wayside. Because, trickle-down economy. If they make $40 billion, they're going to let us peons and the masses have $1 million. Yeah, we can all spread it out. So that means you can buy a ho-ho, your neighbor can buy a Twinkie, your neighbor down the other side of the road, he can buy some of the newest shoes or wherever that was made in Taiwan for 70 cents. But they're going to charge you $200 because, economy. Okay. I think I'm done ranting today. I just think we all need to finally snap out of it. Realize that the people in power, the ruling class, are the same ruling class that were in charge running the world during Roman times. Rome never fell. The people in power just changed their names. They put a different mask on. They moved to a different country. Once things got bad enough that the economic divide was so wide that the peasants revolted against those in charge, they left that area, told the new area how bad the old area was because of some social system that was horrible. Oh, it was because of communism. Oh, it was because of socialism. Oh, the next one that they're going to say that about is capitalism. There's going to be a new system that arises. They'll blame all the woes of the world on capitalism. Meanwhile, the people who caused those woes will have just changed masks, went to a new system, made our perceptions shift in a certain way so that we're all noticing, oh look, this is better than the old system. The old system had hydrocarbons and belched pollution. The new one uses electricity that we get from the sun. And it's all around us. It's unlimited. And we only have to spend 4 cents a kilowatt. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. So all we do is shift the people we pay the money to. But they're the same people. The same people fucking us over every single day. Contributing the least while benefiting the most. We need to open up the patent office. We need to get rid of profit. If you contribute, then you're okay. You're golden. You get what you need. You get what you would like to have. But only if you contribute. The more beneficial your contributions, or the more effort you put into contributing, the more you get as a result. If you've got a brilliant idea and you actually help push it forward and work with the people implementing it, then you get a lot more payback as a result. But if you steal somebody's idea, you trick 40 other people into doing it for you, you can't collect 10% of everybody's pay as a result. Because that gives you 4,000 times the amount of pay of the people that you had implement it, and you got the idea from someone else, so you contributed the least, but you're benefiting the most. We just need to do a completely reversed, a role reversal of how we've currently been doing things. Currently, we've had a top-down mentality. I got promoted, therefore I know more than you, therefore I can tell you what to do. Don't question me. I'm obviously smarter than you. Do it my way. Don't think. Ta-da! Let's flip it around. Yeah, there'll be people in charge, but we're going to have a maximum wage. You can only make so much. If you're a manager, then your evaluation comes from the people you manage. The people who are on the floor, the people who are doing the work, the people putting the stuff together. If you're doing your best to keep them happy, to make their jobs easy, to make it so they can just enjoy their day, get the work done, get the product out, whatever. If they're happy with you, then you'll be happy with your compensation. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Manage the work. Or coordinate the work being done. Or leading the team. Not just making decisions and trying to be the smartest person in the place. We need to bottom up. That's what we need to do. Bottom up. If we don't like something, let's say it's the harm that's being done because of a power plant who's strip mining an area. If we don't like it, then we tell them we don't like it. They stop. Right now, it's just us standing there with signs, yelling and bitching, just looking like whiners. Nobody listens to that. We have the power right now in our pockets, in our purses, in our vehicles, sitting on our nightstands on a charger. We have the power to voice our opinions. I do it. And people who are also on the social media platforms that I'm on call me a conspiracy theorist. They say, oh yeah, what's the next conspiracy? They just don't realize that that's the way the public's thoughts are projected now. It's not ballots. It's not polls. It's not them calling houses and getting random answers from people. How do you feel about this? That's not how it's done. They use algorithms. They use the internet. They use computing power. We're starting to shift into quantum computing, so it'll be instantaneous. But they can look through your search results, what you look at, and tell what your opinion about everything is. What type of websites do you frequent? What type of nutrition do you buy? What type of medicines do you research? What type of exercises do you research? Do you look at anything involving higher consciousness? What are your thoughts as a person? They know it all. They've been tracking it since the internet started. They weren't going to just put out an internet and be like, oh, here, information for everybody. Don't worry, we're not using it against you. Just look at the creation of the CIA. That's what they do. They shift public perception. They try to get us to go along with what they want, and they paint it as something ultra-patriotic and just when it's not. It's just about them. Every war, every battle, every gun that's sold is to benefit somebody in power who wants to keep that power by taking something away from somebody else and not giving them the right amount of compensation. But don't worry, they have weapons to make it so you can't complain. Oh, you want uranium? Don't worry, we'll go to a third world nation, or we'll go to the U.S. and we'll talk politicians into selling us their uranium. It's all a sham. We need to work together. Get rid of everybody in power. We're the power. Yeah, groupthink can be a bad thing because people in large numbers are dumb. But that's only because people in large numbers will listen to whoever speaks the loudest. And right now, the people in power have tricked all of us into thinking we're dumb as hell. So we don't have the knowledge they do. So they feel comfortable speaking the loudest. Because they've got us all fooled. If you really look into anything, you'll realize that science doesn't know shit. At least not mainstream science that we all know. They don't know shit. Economics don't know shit. None of it. Tesla knew what he was doing. Nikola Tesla. But because of capitalism and Western society, the majority of us have never heard of him. He could light an incandescent light bulb from a mile away at Wardenclyffe Tower. But you've never heard of it because that goes directly against the control system in place. Edison got him defunded because all of his investors who were helping him pay for his research were invested in copper. And if you've got a power transmission system that doesn't need copper, then you're not going to make money on all the copper that you just bought shares in. You're going to lose money. So we can't have that. Tesla also wanted free energy because it is free. You're surrounded with it. The universe is electric. It's magnetic flux. It's you're bathed in energy every second of every day. You're swimming through a field of unlimited energy. But they're going to charge you for it. So you have to work so many hours a year just to keep your lights on. Sounds a lot like slavery because you also have to pay for your food. They've made it so you really can't grow your own anymore, especially in urban settings. That's illegal now. Front yard garden? No. Homeowners Association says that's not right. No, that'll bring down home values. You can't grow your own food. You have to go to the store and buy the stuff that we freshly drenched in glyphosate for you because Roundup is good for you. That's where we're at. It's really easy to fix. We're not waiting on anybody to come and fix it. The ones we're waiting on is us. It's time we start taking charge. I'm ready. Who's with me? I'm going to start doing this. I think I'm going to start doing this more often. It feels good. I realize, to me right now, at this point in time, I'm just talking to a phone, sitting in my car, waiting to go into work, where I still have, since it's the 1st of February, I still have another month, 2 months, that I have to work for free. Because about 34% of my paycheck goes to taxes. Because, that's the way our system is set up. So for the first 3 months of the year, 4 months, technically my math is off, it's early. The first 4 months of the year, I'm working just to give money to the government. The state government, the federal government. I can't say what they do with my money because it's classified. They won't tell me. It's, against national security. But I'm giving them 4 months of my life every year to keep doing what they're doing without them contributing a whole lot. Just making people happy and sucking in lobbying contributions. We need to shift that. If you look at the upper echelons, the top, they bring in more money than the bottom 90% of the planet. So if we tax the top 1%, the same as we tax everybody else, there will be an overabundance of money to end poverty, end sickness, end the war on drugs, to bring about safe drugs. It's very easy. We just need to snap out of it. Look at each other as what we are. We're all part of one big entity. We're all single individual cells in one big entity called humankind. I don't like being cancerous. I want to be beneficial. I don't want the planet to decide, it's time I get rid of this bacteria. It's making me sick. That's why the people in power have already made, efforts and ways to escape if the planet decides, I'm done with this bacteria. It's time to get rid of it. They've got underground bunkers that they've been building. You can look into it. I'm not Google. I'm not going to do it for you. But there's underground bunkers. There's EMP shielded bunkers that are miles underground. So when the cancerous cells feel that, it feels like our host is getting ready to get rid of us, we better go underground. So the bad ones go underground. World's wiped clean. Bad ones can come back out and restart the colony. It's just like when you're sick. You start taking antibiotics. Okay. It starts clearing up. But you've got a few strong ones that are bad in there that hide away. They hide behind your spleen. They crawl into your gallbladder. They do whatever they can to survive. And then they come back out after the antibiotics are done. And they restart the bacteria spreading again. The planet wouldn't try to get rid of us if we were a beneficial bacteria. But right now we're not. Western civilization has made us cancerous. We need to shift it. You have a good day. This guy is going to work.